Hi, I'm Bruce Burke. We're back and we're speaking with more people that are participating in the upcoming Fin+AI 2024 conference. It's happening October 2 through 4 in beautiful Dania Beach at Le Meridian. Today, I have with me Marcia Klingensmith. She is the founder and CEO of Instant Payments Maven. And I have Jennifer Borchardt, and she is founder and CEO of Jen AI. So, welcome, ladies. Welcome to the chat here. So, I'm going to let you introduce yourselves individually, starting with Marcia. She's the ringleader for this. And Marcia, first tell us about yourself a little bit, and then and Jennifer will introduce herself, and then we'll go back and we'll actually speak about the sessions that you guys are doing at the upcoming event.
Yeah, hey Bruce, thank you so much. Hi everyone. I'm super excited to be here. I'm Marcia Klingensmith. I'm the Instant Payments Maven, and I help financial institutions build a strategy around adopting instant payments and helping them to serve their customers' needs through instant payments. And I'm thrilled to be here with my partner, Jen AI, to talk about our exciting new workshop, Money the Gathering, an instant payments game, which will be premiering at the Fin+AI conference. And I am a globally recognized expert on instant payments and financial transformation, and I've led similar workshops for international banks. And I am leveraging my 20 years of experience leading teams and bringing products and services to market at leading financial institutions like Bank of America and Wells Fargo and Visa and FIS. And I've a lot of hands-on experience leading technology teams, go-to-market strategies, and just guiding banks through the product delivery lifecycle from ideation to execution. Jennifer?
Great.
Yes.
Great.
Hi, I am Jennifer Borchardt. I am more than just the CXO of JenAI Consulting. I'm also a leader and expert in financial services and user and employee experience. Like Marcia, I am passionate about helping banks bring the power and potential of instant payments to life. And the interactive workshop we're going to be having at the conference is going to do just that. I have over 25 years of experience working with leading financial institutions like E-Trade, Morgan Stanley, US Bank, Wells Fargo, Fidelity, a whole bunch of banks. Oh, in Truist, how can I forget in my hometown, Charlotte, North Carolina? But my passion is in financial services and enabling experiences that allow people to have empowered and a pleasant emotional experience with their money. And instant payments is one of the most important ways to do that. And I'm very, very excited to be here and excited to help bring this workshop to everyone.
Yeah, it's called Money the Gathering, game of instant payments. So I guess think of it as like Monopoly meets role-playing game. And so we have like persona characters, we have opportunity cards, we have challenge cards, we have cool little money and tokens, and we have like it's kind of like a choose your own adventure thing. So our goal for this workshop is to be really immersive. We one of the things is that I hear from banks a lot is like, oh, nobody's asking for instant payments, but there's such a huge need in the world, in the U.S. across the globe for instant payments, because instant payments is really a tool that helps people manage their cash flow. For people living paycheck to paycheck, this is a way for them to have transparency and control over their finances. And so the goal of this game is to really bring this home for the people that are attending, to help them like get a tangible sense of like, why is it that this is relevant in today's society? Like, why should we care about instant payments? Like, and can we make money, and how do we mitigate risk? And so we want everybody to get into that in their head and act out their roles and see what a value add this brings. And with the goal of like going back to their office or their bank or wherever it is they work and say, oh my gosh, like we need to do something now. Like we need to make sure we have this because this is gonna be a game changer and a differentiator for our institution. Like if we don't have this, like we're gonna be missing out. We're gonna be falling behind.
Oh,
I just wanted to follow that great introduction about Money the Gathering. This is not just any workshop. This is an immersive gamified experience that is fun, that is interactive, and will give participants a way to really feel and at least for a couple hours live what it's like to be a customer who needs instant payments, and also what is it like for your frontline employees who work directly with these customers. What are their needs and wants and desires around instant payments? Instant payments is an enabler. It is a critical part of financial services offering, and it's not only can it be a differentiator for a bank, but it's also a lifeline for customers and small businesses.
great. You hit it right on the head where I was going with this, that by actually kind of living the other, being in the other person's shoes, seeing it from the other person's perspective, it opens it up for them. And it, through experience, through exposure, through, hands-on, they learn that the benefits of all the individuals in the value chain, right, of the chain of this transaction. So, um, so to put a little more value into the workshop, Marcia, I'm sorry. Will you please kind of give us a background on you and how you came to be the instant payments maven, and how your background and your experience and that sort of thing, and kind of go over that and
Why instant payments, right? I was in financial services for, I don't know, 15 years. And in that role, I was the underbanked and unbanked subject matter expert. So really strong understanding of financial inclusion. And I've been in lots of different roles. But my last role in corporate America, before I started my consulting business, so I've been doing this a little over a year, this consulting business. But my last role, I worked at FIS Global, and I was responsible for building out the managed services instant payment capability. So the service that would most of the financial institutions across the U.S. would adopt. And what I very quickly realized as we were talking to financial institutions, that most of these financial institutions were not aware that instant payments was a thing, even though the clearinghouse and the Federal Reserve had been promoting it. And this had me very concerned because 72% of the world is already enabled for instant payments. And so the US is way behind. Like we have the clearinghouse real-time payments rails that's been around for about 6 years. And the Federal Reserve just introduced their rails last year. But in spite of that, we have maybe 10% of our banks offering this as a service. And not very many are even, it's mostly, they have different capacities, right? But most of them are set up to receive payments only. They're not enabling their customers to send instant payments. And so, this had me, really concerned because this is such an important tool to drive financial inclusion. 78% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck, and with rising inflation rates and a downward pressure on people's salaries, that number is only going to get worse. And so when you're living paycheck to paycheck, it's so important to have control of your finances, know exactly how much money you have in your bank account. And when you have a gap, you need to know exactly how much that gap is so you can close it, either by taking on a gig job or cutting expenses, or maybe even getting like a microloan. And so instant payments is a really impactful and powerful tool to do that. And then also same for small businesses like me. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a solopreneur. Cash flow is pretty critical. We're all here on the call. We're all entrepreneurs, but with small businesses and solopreneurs, and we're especially have that need for that control over our finances, to be able to collect our paycheck as fast as we can, or to pay bills, maybe wait till the last minute to pay our bills, but have confidence that when we pay them, that it's been received by our partners. And so it's just, making sure, like, because it's such an important need, it's not like a nice to have, it's a critical thing to have. And that's how I got on the journey that when I started my business, I'm like, I'm on a mission to help these financial institutions stay relevant to the communities they're serving. And that's how I got started on all this.
Jen AI kind of started as a little bit of a joke. It's my name, and generative AI is something I'm very interested in. The better story, the more important story, is why have I dedicated my career to financial services and experience? And the reason is because, as I mentioned earlier, anything which can help people have a be more empowered with their finances, make better informed decisions, and feel comfortable with what they are doing, and knowing that financial security is under their control as much as possible. Any opportunity to make things delightful, seamless, easy to use, and most importantly, accessible, that is what we are here for. And I have spent the last 25 years creating experiences that help people learn how to save, learn about financial products and services, giving access to these very critical financial products and services, and also investing. But that is a different beast. What we're talking about here with instant payments is one of the most important tools that banks can provide to their customers to give them financial empowerment, allowing them to have visibility and transparency into their cash flow, have the ability to receive money. If they're doing side gigs, it could even be their primary gig, but also be able to pay people who work for them. That could be contractors, subcontractors, people working on your house, babysitter, house cleaners. There are so many ways that small business impacts our lives, no matter who you are. And instant payments is a way to enable money to flow. That's what keeps the world working, for better or worse. And if we can create good experiences and help banks understand why this is so important, not only to their business, but to society, to the economic well-being of our world, that is what we want to do here. And we're very excited that we get to bring this to organizations in an exciting and immersive way, and also in a way that teaches empathy. If people really understand why this matters, the pitfalls, the opportunities, the gaps, and the emotions of this, then they're going to be champions and advocates for their own organizations to offer these to their customers, to individuals, to families, and to small businesses.
So what we're seeing today is, like, the big financial institutions are already on their network. And I think it's not that they need help connecting, but it's maybe, helping them with different use cases, understanding more opportunities, or helping them get connected with other financial institutions. There is a lot of opportunity for instant payments, both like internal to an organization, like helping streamline the movement of money between different departments. And in fact, like, when financial institutions join, because financial institutions are very risk averse, like, often what we recommend is, like, start with, internal payments, get money flowing between different departments, or places where the financial institution has control over it, to make sure, that they're comfortable with what it is and how it works. And so as we were thinking about this workshop and doing this, like, part of that is that we're trying to cover, like, what are all these different aspects of instant payments. So, for example, we have challenge and opportunity cards, and in our game, we're talking about the different aspects of instant payments, like fraud considerations. Fraud is top of mind. So like in our challenge cards, we're like, oh, there was a cyber attack. So what are you going to do about it? So we have, I can go and pull up some of our cards to talk about that.
There's also speed and security in addition to cyber attacks and other risks. There are a lot of different dimensions that this game is going to cover.
Okay, and so Marcia's pulling up some stuff on the screen here. We're gonna see that some examples of the implements you'll be using in Money the Gathering, this instant role playing game that that they're putting together. It should be quite interesting. I really want to take part in this. I need to understand it. I've worked with a company and we did MasterCard RPPS for payments, right? And we utilize their thing, but this is a whole different ball of wax, right? And that was a novelty when we were doing it, right? The fact that they could walk into a retail location and pay their bills right there and get a receipt and have that satisfaction of, hey, I paid this, right? And I know this is getting remitted. Just that was, that helped a lot back in the day when I was doing that. But okay, so what do we have here on the screen? Persona is Jake Thompson. I'll let you go through this.
No. I mean, so one of the things, like the cards are still being designed and produced, so we're going to have a lot of hands-on collateral. So this is going to be, a fun and exciting game. But what I wanted to just show you here is just highlight some of the personas that will be represented in this game. So as you're playing this game, like one of there'll be a little introductory where we'll lay the landscape of what's going on in instant payments and, talk about briefly at the intro, like what your particular challenges are or curiosities or concerns are around instant payments, just to get the conversation going. But then when we get into the game, you're going to have a persona card and you're going to take on the role of these different personas. So just as we have a number of these personas, but this one here is Jake Thompson, the construction contractor. Construction is one of those areas where there's so many payments that are going back and forth between different parties. You have your supplier goods, you have your individual contractors. Oftentimes when they're building something, there's milestones that they have to meet before they get loan disbursements. There's different licenses that they have to, and permits that they have to get for building. So there's a lot of complexities that instant payments could help ease a lot of these challenges and simplify these things and eliminate a lot of pain. So this is one of the profiles that we're going to be having, personas that we're going to be having in the role in this game. There's this kind of hustle and flow freelancer. 37% of today's economy has, have side hustles or participate in the gig economy. And with instant payments, one of the most prevalent use cases today is that these gig workers get paid the same day that they work, and that's through instant payments. So instant payments is critical for these people. And then, those paycheck to paycheck, if you have a $300 gap for making your rent payment and you go and do an Uber ride or two, being able to see those monies coming in and being able to tell when you've met that gap is so critical. So this is like one of the profiles of a gig worker. We have like event planners. Event planners are oftentimes people that, they're organizing and orchestrating a lot of different things. Like they have to get a venue, they have to get catering, they have to get sponsors. And all these people will either be sending or receiving money. And if one of these components breaks down, as a solopreneur or as a small business, these event planners could be stuck in the position where they would have to get like an emergency loan or something potentially to cover their needs or risk, going out of business. And then another use case that's so important is not only like the individual businesses, but small businesses and their accounting teams. If you have a business that does a lot of interactions, you get a lot of receipts, a lot of invoices. Like in this case, this guy is maybe he's working for a lumber company and they're working with a lot of the contractors, right? There's all these invoices coming in. Maybe the payment hits the bank, but then they don't know if that payment, which invoice that payment matches up to. And so instant payments has rich data that comes along with the payments. And so these are, it can automatically be married to the accounts payable and accounts receivable systems to automate a lot of these things that are manual today. So these are just examples of different personas that we're going to be immersing you in and giving you exposure to during the course of the event, so that you're really hands-on and in the head of the people who need these and why this is important and relevant.
And
Great.
one thing I'd like to add to this is that this is a finite set of personas, but the challenges, the goals, the desires are much more ubiquitous and apply to really anybody. Even though we're only representing a small segment of the populace in our personas, it's relevant everywhere. Another reason why this is more important than ever right now in this moment is that for various reasons, people are leaving these corporate jobs, and because of desire, because of need, they are going into business for themselves in different ways. It could be side hustles, it could be gigs, it could be starting your own consulting firm, offering services to your neighbors, like Marcia, for example. And so this is important to a lot of people now, and it's going to be important and critical and a lifeline to even more people going forward. The world is changing. The financial and economic environment is changing, and the way that people work is changing. And instant payments is what is going to enable people to stay productively involved, engaged, and maintain stability and financial transparency.
Yeah, to kind of marry it a little bit back to the event, the things that really go along with this in the AI, I've been reading a lot about using hyper personalization in regards to instant payments. One of the presentations I was telling you guys about, adding the presentations in the newsletter. One of the presentations the other day is about just that. Your friend Gretchen Rodriguez, right, from TD. So her thing is all about adding that hyper personalization in with that instant payment to make it even. It's already better for the customer and a better customer experience because of the instantaneousness of it. But it's even more so when it's hyper personalized and they're getting personalized messages of that it's gone through, or any number of different things that can maybe something it adds some points to her reward account or whatever. But there's a lot of benefits, and you guys know that more than I do. So I want you guys to talk about that and what some of the tie-ins are.
Yeah, no, exactly. There's a number of tie-ins. I mean, I guess if you talk about just traditional AI on, what you always hear is faster payments equals faster fraud, but that really isn't the case with instant payments, because instant payments is actually a more secure form of payments. It's a push payment. But with AI, there's this fraud AI is a very important tool in fraud detection. So when a customer is initiating that payment transaction, there's a way to use AI to look at the device profile, look at the KYC, look at the personal PII details of that user that's initiating that transaction, and skimming across the ecosystem and say, hey, are we seeing any trends, or is there multiple people associated with this device, or is there a velocity, is this person doing a lot of transactions in a short period of time? So AI is a very important tool to detect and protect the bank and the user in that AI experience. There's also tools like what we were doing with building these personas. So banks, again, I don't hear anybody asking for this. Well, you can use AI as a tool to say, okay, this is my customer profile. Tell me how my customer will use instant payments. This doesn't eliminate the need for research, right? So it's still important to do voice of customer research and go out and survey your customers and find out exactly what their needs are and how their needs will be met. But if you want to get like a preliminary view and an understanding into your customer needs, JenAI is a great tool to go and say, this is what I know about my customers. Can you please tell me what are those use cases where this is going to be more relevant to them? And then what does that look like? Or you can even ask, like, how do I offer a product? So all those questions that you just don't understand, AI is a great way to bounce off and kind of get a more solid understanding. Of course, it doesn't beat hands-on real life experience. That's why I'm here to help financial institutions to make these decisions and to move forward. But like, we all need some place to start. And so these are great tools to help get that conversation started. And I'm sure, Jennifer, you have more things that you'll want to add there.
Yeah. And so in terms of customer experience, instant payments needs to feel and actually feel easy, frictionless, transparent, and secure. Instant payments is a very, very valuable offering, and it can be a way to help build trust, loyalty, and engagement between the customer and the banks. As Marcia said, instant payments can actually be a very secure way to transact. And there are certain things that banks have to do in order to make it so. But it is not this. It's a lot less scary than people might think. And at the end of the day, it needs to feel like something that a customer enjoys using, is able to use, and is reliable. They know when money is coming to them, and they also know when their payments are going out and will reach the recipients.
And actually, building off of that for a second, with the knowing the cash flow, AI is a really a valuable, important tool for financial institutions to build new products and services, because as with AI, with instant payments, there's more clarity on the transactions and the messaging. So you'll understand like why your customer is making this payment. When are they going to run out of funds? When are they going to need more funds? What's their average transaction size? So one of the cool things, especially as you get into small businesses, less so on the consumer side, but more so on the business side, is AI can be used to analyze and predict that cash flow. It can be used to identify products and services that businesses might need, or issues that they might run into, kind of alerting them to problems that they might not already know. And AI can also be used to automate the insertion into accounts payable, accounts receivable, and ERP solutions. So AI is going to be an amazing tool to help streamline and automate the whole payments lifecycle end to end.
Yeah, another one of the tracks at the event is essentially seamless and frictionless transactions, right? And AI plays a huge part in that, and the instantaneousness of it also does the same, right? Can you talk about? You've kind of touched on it briefly, and either one of you can take this question, but. You've touched on some real light points, but to me, one of the main things when I'm doing a payment is I want to have that feeling of security, like that payment went through, right? Knowing. And so what are some of the real security benefits? Because to me, that's kind of the bedrock of a financial transaction, is the security of it. What are some of the security benefits to instant? You glazed over them quickly, but maybe we can dig in a little deeper on some of that.
I mean, you talked about wanting to know where your money is. Like, one of the first benefits is, like, when you send that transaction, the other person immediately gets notified that money's in their account, and you as the sender are also notified. And that doesn't happen in today's world with today's payments. If you do an ACH or a check, like, you're on the phone, hey friend, did you get the money? Do you have it now? But instant payments, both of you are looking at your bank account, and you can see in real time that the money is there. So that's amazing. Another thing is it's a push payment. So you have to be in your bank account and you have to say, I give that money permission to go. Whereas today's society with ACH payments or credit card. Somebody else has taken that money out of your account. That's sometimes that gets a little frustrating. Like when you have those reoccurring bills and it's like, I didn't remember giving that person permission to take that money, but then you're having to call the bank. With instant payments, your main vulnerability is if somebody gets into your bank account, or if social engineering, what is it? Those the Nigerian prince or whatever.
Nigerian prince.
Yeah, or the Microsoft scam, whatever those scams are. But those vulnerabilities don't just apply to instant payments. That's any payment, right? So you don't have more exposure there. You actually have less because you have less points of vulnerability. And then there's so many tools that can be put in place. Like banks can put, limits by person, by transaction type. There is so many levers that can be applied. So it's a myth that faster payments equals fraud. Yes, money moves faster, but that doesn't mean you're going to have like more fraud, bigger fraud, whatever. It just means that that money moves fast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there are mechanisms in place to help protect not only the customers but the bank from fraud. Two-factor authentication is one example. The fact that this is a push activity rather than money getting pulled is another way that that helps it become a more secure experience. And also, going back to AI, AI can enable a bank to know before humans may even know if it is an out of pattern transaction that could in fact be fraudulent, and get to mitigating the potential risk faster than ever before.
You kind of posed a question in my mind a little while ago. Is customer service less affected when the payments are faster? Is there less customer service action? Are people calling, hey, where's my payment? My payment didn't go through. How much is there any statistics as to how much is being saved in, lessened customer service hours, a higher happiness index from the customer, anything like that?
I don't have data on that, but that there's definitely a huge cost savings when it comes to customer service. I was just talking to some colleagues about like the healthcare industry and refund payments. Like the healthcare industry has these huge these refunds that they do for with checks. Like when you pay for your medical procedure, you might like overpay because they don't know the exact amount at the time of the transaction. But then after the procedure is done and they net everything out, they have this money that they have to return, and they return it by checks. So they have this huge cost of check issuance, and then customers get these checks like after months, maybe weeks, months after the procedure is done, and they're like, "What the heck is this?" And they're calling up and asking about it. But if you think about it, people are always like, I want to know where my money is. I just sent this to my friend. I just sent this to my family. I just sent this to did I make it, like my bill? Did I make it in time? Am I going to get fined? Like, I don't see the payment. Why isn't the payment there? Right? People want to have control over the money. And sure, people are calling all the time. Whereas instant, it's like, is it there? Yes. I mean, it's either there or it's not there. You right away. There's no question. There's no ambiguity.
I hate it when I pay off my, I've got a credit card with JP Morgan Chase, and I've got a JP Morgan Chase checking account, and I pay the credit card off, and I'll make the payment at 8 o'clock in the morning. But does it go out that day? It's immediately taken out of my bank account. Even if I do it at 8 o'clock in the morning, it's not applied till 2 days later to my credit card. Yeah. And that's internal. I mean, I understand that the card is issued by, and all that stuff, but
also on the B2B side, because we have still so many checks, too many checks in our processes today, especially like on the business side, right? Somebody issues an invoice and maybe they pay by credit card, or maybe they pay by check. And then somebody's like printing out the invoice and they're like comparing it to the system. They're like, okay, is this for this? It's such a manual process. And then when you're trying to figure out like which invoice a payment is applied to, somebody has to look up in the system and they're double checking, comparing this information to that information. That's a huge waste of time. Nobody needs to do that in the instant payment world. That can automatically be reconciled, matched up, and that will, I mean, when that gets done or takes over, that'll be a huge cost savings across the board.
Yeah, I've seen where like companies that are, like JP Morgan, again, I'm sorry to keep bringing them, using them as an example, but they're now using blockchain to essentially settle up all the columns at the end of the day, right? They're using tokens, but never anything that's customer facing. It's all internal, right? And they're placeholders so they can balance the books at the end of the day, every day as they close up, right? So I really think that like faster payments is actually like a top level subject that gets into a lot of other subjects that's a lot deeper technology wise, right? And also again kind of like AI, you kind of get into a philosophical argument about it as well as just it kind of becomes like, well, isn't this the right thing to do as like a human being that's offering services to other human beings kind of a thing, right? If you want to bring your customers aboard and like really make them happy, like give them the best service you can possibly give them, right? That's all part of, that's the way some of the .com companies, Zappos with their extreme customer service and things like that. That's how you can differentiate yourself from the next guy, right? So faster payments or instant payments in this case is a differentiator, right? So can you talk a little bit more about that? Like,
Jennifer,
it's not just a bragging right of we got faster payments, but you actually have more than that, right? You're giving them more.
It isn't just the instant of instant payments. It's also the trust, the security, the utility, and accessibility. That not only builds customer engagement and loyalty, it also helps bolster the brand. By offering instant payments, it can help a bank be seen as, I am there for you, using AI to help enable data. I know you, building trust, building that connection, and being there when and how people need it. It's and especially we've had another use case we haven't really talked about, but is becoming more important, is we are experiencing more natural disasters in our country. That is putting people in dire straits, and it is more important than ever during those difficult times. If someone loses their home, or if someone doesn't have access to to their bank branch where they might normally go, enabling instant payments in a secure and accessible way is going to allow people to keep their lives moving as much as possible when they need it most.
And even from the fundraising perspective of, say you do have a crisis and you do throw up a GoFundMe or something like that to aid something, right? The money can be there instantaneously. It can provide immediate relief, right? Right to the source, rather than something that's going to take 4 to 6 weeks for delivery, right?
Yeah, and and actually, so another use case I just thought about that I don't think we've touched on yet is not just B2B or B2C or C2C, but also instant payments can also be used, and I believe in some countries it is being used. And Marcia, you can confirm this. Mm-hmm. Instant payments is being used to provide government benefits and funding to individuals and to businesses. And especially if we're talking about changing economic climate conditions, again, that is not only important, it is a lifeline. It is how people survive and get through their lives. Go on, Marcia.
There's two things that came to mind. I guess the first one, where we're talking about the government use case, because there are a number of governments that are doing instant payments as part of their service. But I was thinking about our poster child, because there's two instant payment poster children. One is UPI in India, and the other one's Pix in Brazil. And the Pix in Brazil is there. Pix came about during COVID because it was the government's way to get money into the hands of the people who needed it in a time of crisis. And instant payments is a way that relief organizations do help get money into the hands of people who need it around the world. And then I think the use case you were talking, the international thing, because instant payments is so critical in these kind of situations, and we're a global economy and people have family and friends across the world that they try and take care of through payments, we're starting to see countries stitch their instant payment systems together. So that's also a growing trend, as everybody's trying to get standardized on the same ISO 20022 message, but they're starting to stitch these standardized instant payments platforms together. So it's just a matter of time before the whole world is on the same payment page.
Yeah, a truly global payment system. And I think that the globality of such a system, if I can make up a word, globality, that isn't just all the countries around the world. That is all. There's a lot of globality within just the United States. There are many people in our in this country that are coming from other places, that they're earning their money here, they're working, they're establishing lives here, but they still have responsibilities and families elsewhere. And instant payments is a way for them to not only build stability right here in their temporary or adopted homes, but also to help their families and loved ones back in their origin country.
That's great. It's so this is the stuff that brought me to payments to begin with, was the emerging market stuff, right? That's the stuff that when it makes a real difference, right? It's one thing it'd be, a couple of days late on your rent here in the USA or something like that, right? But when you're talking crisis and humanity and, people in suffering and, all that kind of stuff, that's when something to me, that's when payments really make a difference. It's the utility, right, that's associated with it. So, so you guys are going to be doing this event. It's Wednesday, October 2nd. It's in the afternoon at Le Meridian. That's in Dania Beach, Florida. Griffin Road exit off of 95. Very easy to find. FinAIconference.com is where you can find it. And it's going to be in the Aqua Vista ballrooms, and I'm not sure which A, B, C, or D, but it'll be in one of those. And I want everybody to come out on that. We'll have more details and information up on the website soon, and there will be a press release with more details coming soon on that also. So stay tuned for that as we head into September and start putting the agenda together. We're very quickly running up to this event, and we're very quickly putting it together. And I really appreciate you guys being involved and being a part of this and helping us grow this. So final words. How do they find you? Let's start with Jennifer. How do they find you, Jen? How do they reach you? How do they get in touch with you?
But the best way to find me is on LinkedIn, Jennifer Borchardt, digital transformation leader. That's me. Reach out.
Oh, okay. And that's Borchardt if you're not spelling.
That's right. That's
and
right.
then I'm sorry. And Marcia, also for you, how can they reach you? How can they find you? How can they get instant payments?
Yeah, I was going to say, if you Google the instant payments Maven, I'm sure you'll get to me. But my website is FinTech Consultant, I'm also on LinkedIn. But definitely join us at FinAI 2024 for a transformative and engaging experience with our Money the Gathering game. And we'll guarantee you're going to leave with a fresh perspective on the future of payments.
Perfect. See you guys there. Thanks so much for joining me today. All the best. Hang around for 1 minute so we can finish uploading. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.
Thank you.